Well, welcome to Field and Royalised Shooting News, and we're down here at Ragley Hall at the CLA on Gunmakers Road, and we've now entered into the airgun section. We have some amazing UK manufacturers. Needless to say, Air Arms are leading the sport, and they're always coming out with new products. And Simon's going to very kindly talk us through the new FTP900, which we've had lots of new products, lots of new development on this.
Lots of new innovations, yes.
David, this has really caught your eye this morning here, and there's going to be a lot of people at the show. They're going to be looking at this new launch now, aren't they?
Yeah, it caught my eye as soon as I walked past the stand, to be honest, because it is just so innovative. It is totally new ideas, new concepts.
Come on, Simon, you know, the brainchild behind this, you know, what's it all about? Let's just talk through the gun.
Well, starting from the top, we have a new muzzle compensator, new air deflector, which incorporates this little arm that protrudes out. A lot of HFT shooters and FT shooters like to have things dangling down to see where the wind direction is.
Just hold on that point, Dave. Yeah. Just explain about the HT shooters. HFT, because a lot of people are not going to know a lot of these terms. So let's get it back to the basics.
Okay. Well, FT obviously is field target, and that really has become very much the Formula One of air gunning, in a way. Something that I've participated in a lot of years, and so has Simon.
Myself as well, yes.
Yeah. And then really out of that has grown hunter field target, which really has come back, and it's a change in discipline, it's a change in target sizes, shooting styles, shooting positions, things like that. And really they've become almost a Formula One and a Formula 2 type.
So you guys have you've taken these two formats and we are here
incorporated into one rifle.
This rifle that really. So come on then.
So yeah, starting at the front, the top, I've got this new air diffuser. We coming down the actual shroud, the bit that you can see here has a barrel incorporated inside it. With this finish that we put on it, it creates a heat reflection, so it diffuses the heat away from the barrel, so the barrel's stable inside a thermal barrel.
Very stable all the way through the competition.
Yeah, because obviously with you working on air, then I've been in the States, and when the temperature really starts to go really high, you start to get all sorts of movements happening within the rifle.
Simon, just explain to us on the air side of things in the chambers, just how the mechanisms all work.
Well, the system is you have a valve at the front which you charge the rifle itself up with off a diver's bottle or a pump.
Yes.
And you're working on high pressures of up to 200 bar, 190 to 200 bar.
Right.
Which is roughly about 2,900 psi or 3,000 psi. So it's very high pressure.
Yeah,
so
very high.
Filling up this chamber here, and then this chamber then feeds air down to what we call a regulator, which is a system which meters air into the actual final firing valve.
Okay, so there we are with the rifle, and we've got the first pellet in. We've gone through the first pellet. Roughly, how many pellets are we going to be putting through?
You're looking at shooting approximately 100 to 120 shots, all very consistent, all very metered air, which obviously gives you a very accurate result at the end of the 50 metres that you're shooting up to.
And then when they've got through the end of that, they just literally look at the regulator at the end. They can see where they are pressure-wise and increase pressures as and when.
On the front of the gun, there's what we call, well, it's a pressure gauge, and the pressure gauge gives you an indication of what's left in the gun. Yeah.
And then sort of moving on from that, any other technical changes?
Well, at Air Arms, there's a huge amount of investment been brought into the company with new machinery to allow us to do these really modern, up-to-date lines of the flowing breech block that you can see here. And it's a lot of the development that's gone into here is what you're going to see in years to come from Air Arms. There's a huge amount of investment been made.
One of the things I've noticed, David, and you pointed out earlier, was the trigger action through here.
Yeah.
I mean, just explain to us the technicalities on the.
Well, the trigger we've got here has been an evolution in all the flagship rifles that Air Arms have done. They've been in the Pro Target rifles, which were initially the early stages of Air Arms' flagship rifles, which then evolved into the EV2, which is, again, another flagship rifle.
Yes.
Development through the years has just given the outcome which we see here, and this trigger now runs on smooth Delrin bushes. There's roller bearings inside there. all to enhance the smoothness and the crispness of the trigger that you see in the FTP.
So very, very technical.
I mean, so when you get up to this level of equipment, then you really are talking high-tech kit all the way through. Because at the end of the day, the guys competing, field target, HFT, it is pure precision. It's very much like the 10-metre Olympic.
Let's just touch on that. How many rounds are we putting through in a competition format? Is it one or is it 100,000? Where are we?
Well, really, on the competition format, really, for field target, it's now 50 target courses.
So that's the constant concentration. It's
one shot on each target.
Yes.
Outdoors, obviously, and the same with hunter field target. You're looking at 2.5 hours of concentration, really, and consistency. And what you need is when you've got that, then you've got not the only person you can blame is yourself.
Okay, let's talk through the stock, because I know there's a lot of changes being happening on the stock, isn't there?
There's a lot of changes. The new stock that you see here has been designed by a world field target champion, a gentleman called Nick Jenkinson, who's had a lot of input in the design of this. So it's when you shoulder it and handle it, it just feels like it's the ergonomics and the feel of it is so user friendly.
I mean, one of the things I've noticed on the previous models is centre stem through here was a single. We've now moved up to, we've got a twin bar system through here. I mean, just explain what flexibility that gives us.
Well, the twin bar system it adds additional strength to the palm shelf, the hamster, which is what it's called. It also gives us an adjustment on the front and back, so you can pivot the hamster itself.
Which is sort of quite key when you're sort of setting up, David.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, so mine have got fixed hamsters on, and they've just got a thick stock on them.
Yeah.
And the problem is that suits me because they were built for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they're not going to suit you. They're not going to suit Simon. Yeah. So the adaptability is what we're always after.
Yeah. But what we're also looking at doing with the hamster, we're also looking at offering the bars themselves are obviously to a specific length. We can also offer accessories for longer lengths to increase the depth of the hamster even further.
Right, that works really well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And again here, I notice on the palm side of things, we've all got different sized hands.
That's
some
right.
people shoot with gloves on, some don't. And just to sort of explain the amount of adjustment that we have there.
Well, obviously what we've got here is, as you can see, at the moment it's probably adjusted to the maximum to give it for the smallest hand available that's out there. But with this system, you can adjust it down to create a bigger hand width, and also
getting the balance there.
And
it's resting on
that's right.
Seats.
Yeah. And you've also, with this system, you also got a slide adjustment on the actual level itself, so you can actually
so you can really
alter the angle of your wrist.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then coming through onto the cheek section through here, which is vitally important, isn't it?
Well, the cheek patience itself is infinitely adjustable. It's running again on a ball, so you can actually rotate through basically 180 degrees. It can move sideways, left to right. It can move up and down. Infinitely adjustable.
Yeah.
And then, come on, David, I think this is a piece that's caught your eye this morning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Both disciplines here, this adjustment. I mean, just explain the differences on that.
Well, again, really, on the buff plate there, a lot of the time they're on twin bars, which really limits the amount of adjustment that you can get, because you can either go in and out, or you get a little bit of up and down. But because that, you've gone...
Again, on a ball valve.
Again, on a ball
joint, I should
really,
say.
On the ball joint, it allows it to move around to wherever you need it to be, because obviously the fit here on the shoulder is critical if you want absolute consistency.
I mean, Simon, we're in its early stages here at the show, and the amount of guys that have already come on and seen it. I mean, these changes really must have put a lot of smiles on a lot of faces.
We've had a huge amount of praise, and everybody said, as soon as I walked on the sand, wow factors.
Yes.
We've had people actually drive 2 to 2.5 hours, 3 hours down here purely to see this rifle.
To see the unit.
Yeah. I mean, we've created a lot of buzz in the HFT and the field target fraternity, and they're desperate to get their hands on it.
Well, I have to say, gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up this morning. I mean, I know David's very, very keen to now put this through a live firing test, and I'm sure there's going to be some dialogue between the pair of you, and we look forward to seeing some more footage on this and putting it through its paces.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you,
Dave. Always great to see all these new products through, and great for our airgun section. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.